Hi, this is one of the homework examples you have in your packet if you purchased it from the bookstore. This is also like number 25. It's from section 8.3, which is a claim about a mean again. Okay, so let's kind of look through this here. It says they're talking about crash test of child booster seats, and they give us this data. Right here it says at the 0.05 significance level, test a claim that the sample is from a population, the mean less than 1,000 Hick. Okay, so that's my claim, that the mean is less than 1,000 Hick. That's the first step. Second step is the opposite, which is greater than or equal to. Third step is determining the null and the alternatives. Just to review, you pick whichever one of these doesn't have the equal sign, and that's automatically the alternative. The null is always equal to. Step 4, you pick the significance level, and they'll always give that to you. Okay, now before we go into the rest of this, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to actually find these statistics from this sample. So that was something we did back in chapter 3. I'm just going to do a real quick review of how we do that. So what I do is I went ahead and put these numbers into my list. You can feel free to pause this at any time, but I put the data into my list. And then I go to Stat, Calc, Enter, and from there I get my N, X bar, and S. So again, you can pause your data just to make sure you get that. So again, this is a sample of 6 car seats, so we're looking at the sample mean, the sample standard deviation. Okay, since we don't know the population standard deviation, we are going to use a t-test. So again, the claims about the mean, sigma, which is a population standard deviation, is not known, so we're going to use a t-test. Okay, so let me pull up my calculator here. I'm going to go to Stat, Test, t-test, and I'm going to show you everything I put in here. Mu 0 is the mean from the null hypothesis. X bar, N, and S are already in here for me because I had that in there earlier. You could I rounded this one a little bit. I'm just going to keep it in there how it is, though. And then for this one, I would pick, it's a left tail test, so I want to pick the less than sign. So go over to the left, the middle one, hit Enter. And I hit Calculate. Let me just show you my answers here. So the first thing is my test statistic. And then this is my p-value rounded. Okay, so with our calculator, this part is where we decide which one we use in our calculator. And then we used our calculator and we found the p-value and the test statistic. So this is what our calculator does for us. So now we have to come up with a conclusion. This is step 7. So if I look at my p-value, this is my p-value. I'm going to compare it to alpha. Alpha was 0.05. In this case, it's smaller. Whenever it's less than or equal to, you're going to reject the null. So this is like steps 5 and 6. This is step 7. So we reject the null. So when I reject the null, that means I say that the alternative is true. So I'm going to do this last part here, number 8. Okay, if I go back to this one, my original claim does not have an equal sign, and I rejected the null. So it does not have an equal sign. That would be these two. And I rejected the null. This one says failed to reject. So this is the one I want to look at. So there is sufficient evidence to support the claim that it's less than 1,000. So let's put down here. Okay, so that takes care of this part. This last part, I just wanted to look back at the data. If you look at this data, these are all pretty small, except for this one's pretty large. So when you look at this last part here, what did the results suggest about the child booster seats? There's strong evidence that the mean is less than 1,000, but there is that one data value that's actually greater than.